Okay, so after going over overrides and like some of those other things, they go over updating, maintaining, and that kind of thing. So apply. If you're not using a new profile, we recommend running our cleanup script. The instructions are in the file. Put all the relevant files into the root folder of your profile. Press cleaner updater user.js, user overrides.js. This is a file you created. You edit this file with your changes. So the user.js do not edit it directly. You edit the overrides.js. Continue with the update part below. So this is their updater. So they provide you an updater so that you don't have to go and manually download it. Run the updater so the contents of your user overrides is appended to the user.js. Always run prefs cleaner. Make sure Firefox is closed. This will reset preferences that are already needed or can cause issues, as well as keep things clean and tidy. You can read more about prefs cleaner next. Update error. If you get an update failed, make sure PowerShell is allowed internet access. Error, run as an administrator. Each release, or whenever you modify your user overrides.js, check for the latest changelog. Run the updater so the contents of your user overrides.js is appended to the new user.js. Then you run prefs cleaner again, so it cleans it up and makes it nicer and smaller. Then you've got your RSS feeds for your releases and then different commits. If you want to keep up with master commits, then that's your option. If you want to keep up with the actual releases, then that's your other option. Arkenfox changes to the live master happen once per release. All changes are done in a separate branch and are only merged when finished. There's no guarantee when this is done, hopefully within the week of the Firefox release. Nothing of consequence changes these days that will affect you in that time delay. So I guess generally it's like Firefox updating a few things and then having to turn off a couple overrides in user.js and that kind of thing. But yeah. So the prefs cleaner is where some of the magic happens. Always run prefs cleaner after updating. Do not delete prefs.js. Prefs.js is a runtime file that includes more than just your pref changes. Over time, Firefox deprecates preferences, and Arkenfox also removes preferences or makes them inactive by commenting them out. It does this because they are no longer needed or may cause issues. For the duration of each ESR lifecycle, 60/50s, we keep a list of preferences removed by Arkenfox, and then 99/99s, we keep a list of preferences deprecated by Firefox. A master copy of everything that has ever been in the Arkenfox user.js, but is no longer is kept up to date in our cleanup script. So these removed, deprecated, and inactive preferences should be reset. To avoid issues and keep things tidy, doing it manually is time-consuming and prone to human error. The solution is simple. Script it and reset every preference in user.js regardless of whether it is active or inactive. Then restart Firefox and all your active preferences are reapplied. The end result is being all your inactive ones have been reset. And that's exactly what the preference cleaner script does. So always run prefs cleaner with Firefox closed after each update. So it's just like we clean slate, apply everything, and then boom. So then here are the extensions that are recommended. We recommend keeping extensions to a minimum. They have privileged access within your browser, require you to trust the developer, can make you stand out, and weaken site isolation. For those interested, here's an ongoing series on the basics of browser extension security by Vladimir Palant. This list covers privacy and security related extensions only. While we believe these are the very best of the best, this can be subjective depending on your needs. We are also not saying you have to use all of these extensions. So uBlock origin, privacy, let's see, set up your blocking mode, enable AdGuard URL tracking protection, import actually legitimate URL shortener tool. So, interesting. So I haven't quite looked at this, but that's pretty cool. I might have to like add that into my other stuff in reality. So canvas blocker, non-RFP users only. Good protection against naive scripts, detectable, and leaks with advanced scripts. Randomized canvas and audio may be WebGL if you use that. The rest is not needed. Header editor allows you to run rules to modify the request header and response header, cancel a request, redirect a request. Be careful not to universally alter your passive fingerprint. Multi-account containers and temporary containers. While third parties are already partitioned with total cookie protection, leveraging containers can provide additional benefits, such as an extra layer of isolation, signing into multiple accounts on the same site, Mac and Mozilla, VPN, adds advanced VPN and proxy settings. So your MAC address and Mozilla's VPN kind of gives like a layer of privacy so that they don't see your IP directly. About temporary containers. Temporary containers is no longer maintained while TC provides sanitizing uses DFPI compatible API. This is not why it is recommended, as optional. See cookie extensions in the don't bother section below. So then you've got request control and then redirector, which is no longer maintained. Smart refer. If only 1601 is too strict for you and you override it to default 0, so smart refer works, disable the whitelist. So it shows you how to do that, and then there's the tools. These extensions will not mask or alter any data sent or received, but may be useful depending on your needs. Behave monitors and warns if a web page performs DNS rebinding attacks to provide private IPs, access private IPs, and does port scans. So this is kind of one of those things where you've basically got a rogue node in your network that is doing things to your DNS and poisoning your DNS is what this does. Is it tracks that down, it like looks at it, oh, it was this previously, now it's this, and basically switches it over. Because the last thing you want is to have like some an IP in the private range to be like, redirected to rather than the original one, because it could be malicious. Moz LZ4, edit, inspect, and or edit LZ4, Moz LZ4, JSON LZ4, back LZ4, and JSON files within Firefox. CRX viewer, so you can see like what an extension is, compare user.js, not an extension, but a tool to compare user.js files, and output the dis and detailed breakdown. So that's probably something similar to what they use to keep track of like all the deprecated like user.js lines that they've done over the years. So don't bother uMatrix, no longer maintained. Everything uMatrix did can be covered by prefs or other extensions. Use uBlock Origin for any content blocking, like YouTube. No script redundant with uBlock Origin. Ghostery, disconnect, privacy badger, etc. redundant with total cookie protection, and Privacy Badger no longer uses heuristics by default, and enabling it makes you easily detected. Neat URL or clear URLs, redundant with uBlock Origin's remove param, and added lists. Any potential extra coverage provided by additional extensions is going to be minimal. HTTPS everywhere, redundant with HTTPS only mode, and scheduled for deprecation. So literally, like, an extension was put into Firefox, and they became deprecated. CSS exfil protection, practically zero threat, and if the platform CSS was compromised, you'd have bigger problems to worry about. Yeah, like, what? This one up here, possibly. Local CDN decentralized, third parties are already partitioned if you use total cookie protection. Replacing some version-specific strips on CDNs with local versions is not a comprehensive solution and is a form of enumerating badness. While it may work with some scripts that are included, it doesn't help with most other third-party connections. CDN extensions don't really improve privacy as far as sharing your IP address is concerned, and their usage is fingerprintable, as this Tor project developer points out. They are the wrong tool for the job and are not a substitute for a good VPN or Tor browser. It's worth noting the resources for decentralized are over 3 years out of date and would not likely be used anymore. So that's interesting. Okay. Let's see. I don't see, assume blah, blah, blah. Where was it? Ah. Let's click that again. There is a disable link prefetching option that says prevent disallowed requests from leaking out to delivery networks. This may indicate some potential no script blocking interaction or may not, still need to test. So more up to date. Local CDN. So like there's an option there for that. This was mentioned in the website Oracle's blog post comments as a way to cut down on traffic to popular CDNs. Probably not comprehensive, but the performance win is also compelling. I don't see any of these downsides, assuming components stay up to date and compatible with whatever versions sites use. I've installed this on my local Tor browser to test. Warning, this YOLO move that will change your request browser's fingerprint in ways that are obvious to anyone who looks. And also pointed out that it may have unknown interactions with no scripts, attempt to block scripts. I'll see if I notice anything. Anyway, so they worked on it. Cookie extensions sanitizing in session is a false sense of privacy. They do nothing for IP tracking. Even Tor browser does not sanitize in session. When you request a new circuit, a new ID requires both full sanitizing and a new IP. The same applies to Firefox. So it's the idea of like, yeah, it's cool that you sanitize cookies, but they can still see your IP. If they've got that, they can, if you're in the middle of a session, it's still possible that once they've like done a man-in-the-middle attack, they can still get your session ID and pull those cookies in the process while sniffing and then still hijack your session. So you need both a new IP and a new cookie, session cookie, in order to fully like work correctly. Because otherwise they can still find your IP, get your IP, and then like track your session cookie from there. Cookie extensions can lack APIs or implementations of them to properly sanitize. Anti-fingerprinting extensions redundant with RFP, which is the best solution. For non-RFP users, we recommend Canvas Blocker as your next best option. Most extensions cannot protect what they claim. It's impossible. Engine OS version. It's not a lie. The sites expect and use a valid value. It's dumb. Randomizing is not very usable, and or successfully spoofing is the same as setting that. Its equivalency, it has too many methods, fonts at least, and more. Web extensions lack APIs to properly protect metrics. Web extensions are detectable and often uniquely fingerprintable when they touch the DOM, and sometimes when they don't. So it varies, really. And I'm gonna split this up again because I really don't want it to be like a 20-30 minute video, but we're like getting close to being done on the Arkenfox thing. Anyway, we will continue on with updating later on. If you enjoyed the video, then like, comment, subscribe, feed the algorithm, boost the video up, share this video with your friends. If you found it informative or you just want to chat, I've got plenty of places in the description, Discord, Guilded, and what have you. Check those out, and I will see you guys in the next one.